I am very much happy to see you home, safe, to celebrate with us.
Yes, yes,
You're one of the persons who inspired me as a
yes.
woman.
Mm-hmm,
I know you way back when Carol and I went to school together.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes I pop in by your place.
Yes.
And Daddy was an ardent supporter of yours, if you remember.
That,
So,
what does daddy say?
Cletus,
It does.
Cletus, yes, yes, yes. And I, I can recall that the number of conversations that you two had over the period of time back then,
Yes.
and I um, know that he was trying to get a lot of things done in the in the constituency, especially
Yes.
Lafayette, and he always come to you. I
Yes.
remember once he came to ask for some call votes
Yes.
to put in front of the gap, and he said he will put the labor just for the government to give him the call votes.
Yes.
And he was given the call votes. And
Yes.
he laid the call votes in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I say all that to say that at your time, you listened to people and you reach
Mm-hmm.
out to people. And that
Yes.
stuck with me.
Yes.
Okay? I want to take the honor to present you with the 50th anniversary pin of Grenada Independence.
Okay. Thank you very much. And one thing I want to tell you too. As a young person, immersing myself in research and reading so many different documentaries and research articles on Grenada, its independence, revolution. Your name was one of the names that came up quite often. And I must say, as a young parliamentarian now serving as MP for St. John as well as a government minister, it is indeed an honor to meet you in the flesh. Sitting here listening to Minister Gloria Thomas's remarks and saying how, she've experienced how committed you was to people, how devoted you were to listening to persons. I can attest that she's not the only one that can say that, but quite a number of persons who reflected in your time as part of Sir Eric Gary's leadership, that they attest to that of what the minister stated earlier. And when you spoke about how important and how your life has touched in politics is an area that young people are not always encouraged to get involved in, especially women. Our role in politics is tremendous, but we don't get the recognition all the time. And so just to meet you in the flesh is something that I would hold with me. That is my, if I am to capitalize or put together what is one of the highlights of Grenada 50th, it would definitely be to meet you as a young parliamentarian. And I want to thank you for your service. And I want younger people, younger than me, to see that it is not just a movement that has started now, but it was something that was long in the making. And it's because of people like you and other former women in politics that I am here today, that we are here today. So I just wanted to just place that on record and express my thank you. Yes. Yes, well,
You recognize the face?
yes, but I forget the name.
Can you forget those?
Toes. Toes, I know the name Toes very well.
Yeah, nine toes
Yes.
from Grenville.
Mm-hmm.
I used to always come by in your shop
Yes.
and we
You're looking
chatted.
very good.
Yeah,
You're looking.
well, just like you. So I just want to see how happy we are to have you
Yes,
home,
yes,
to recognize you
yes.
for your work that you have done in the area of politics and serving people, and to
Yes,
let you know that you, in fact, have been an inspiration for me, particularly
yes,
to be in politics.
yes.
And for this, I have to thank you.
So where do you represent? What parish?
St. Andrew Southwest.
Southwest?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
St. Andrew Southwest.
Mm.
But I used to always come to your little store in Greenwood
Granville,
and
yes,
chat and
yes,
chat and
yes.
chat, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's so many things we did, in the past
yeah,
for the country and.
yeah. And I mean,
Yes,
you've been at the forefront of all of those things.
yes. As a
Always
matter
walking
of
to.
fact, the girls used to recognize me in the fact that although I'm working on the estate in
Bulong?
Boulogne and so on. They would, if I'm going on the road, they'd pick me up in the car and, drop me in St. George's
Right.
in Grenville,
Right.
And as I said, we did a lot of work between Dunfermline and Dorothy Hopkins. It's come all the way from St. George's.
Right.
And we work in there in the nurseries. They build things for the family to stay in.
So the work continues with your inspiration. The work continues.
Huh?
I said, with your inspiration, the work continues.
Oh yes, continues because
This is who?
I don't remember the name now.
Delma.
Delma. I'm laughing at
From Moncton, Paraclete, Moncton.
Paraclete and Mountain.
So I was born in Paraclete just like you.
Yes.
Yes. So I really am happy and honored this afternoon to be here with you and to celebrate with you.
Yes.
So 50 years after,
Yes.
you was the parliamentary representative of Tananjo Northwest
Yes.
during the independence.
Yes. Yes.
And now I am the parliamentary representative of Tananjo Northwest.
Yes.
So yes, so you have set the foundation.
Yeah.
Yes, and so we both from Paraclete.
Yes.
We both are representatives. So 50 years ago, you was the representative, and now 50 years after, I am the representative. Yes, so you have really set a trend. And the truth is, you remember that you and Sister Whipplenet crossed the floor? You remember that?
Yes, I have a photograph of that.
and I from St. Andrew, so you really set the trend, and so we were able to follow. So it means that from St. Andrew Northwest, we are strong, and we are able to make decisions on our own as women.
Yes.
And I think you set the trend, so I want to thank you
Yes.
for setting the trend and being the strong woman you are and making us as women. So that's why Sister Karen James and Honorable Gloria Thomas did towards women are involved in politics despite those hardships. So we really want to thank you.
Yes.
And so we look forward to celebrating you because we cannot celebrate independence without you and other members of the team. So Sir Eric is gone, but we still will call his name forever because he was the father and the team involving you, Miss Ned, and all the other members. So we want to thank you. And we look forward to celebrating. From our constituency standpoint, we want to celebrate you. So,
Thank you.
yes. So I have this small token of our appreciation from Sister Gloria Thomas and I on the constituency level. Yes. And to welcome you to Grenada. Yes.
Beautiful flowers.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
with Mrs. Nadia Benjamin. Miss Benjamin, it's a privilege to have you home. Grenada is, first up, I want to ask you about the feeling to be here to witness the Jubilee celebration of Grenada.
yes. Well, I always come in time for independence for the past number of years because sometimes I was outside, but I made all the effort to come back home for independence.
From your recollection, you were a former parliamentarian. What can you tell us from what you can remember from way back from 1972, prior to independence, getting independence and being in parliament? What can you tell us?
Well, while I was in parliament and I also work in the Ministry of Education, I think it was, and Social Affairs, And I was, in constant contact with people in the constituency and outside of the constituency. And besides that, we plan a lot of education programs for the young people. And then when I got into government, working with Sir Eric Gary, then I did a lot more for the young people with training programs and whatnot,
So, what it was like working with Sir Eric Matthew Gary?
Well, Eric Matthew Gary has always been, a pleasure, to work with me and I'm to work with him, because from the very beginning, he would check me out and see if I'm willing to to work with the government, you know, and that. And I knew him from the very beginning, you know, when he's going to school in Lafayette. He taught in Lafayette for some time. And then when I started going to secondary school, coming from Paraclete, coming to Boulogne and Dunfermline and so on, I always, you know, met with him and, you know, had chats. As a matter of fact, when I started working with Dorothy Hopkins from St. George's, we used to come up and we work in the clinics. And by Sir Gary's mother was in the Dunfermline area, and we worked near there. We built the nurseries, we took care of children, and so I don't know if you remember Dorothy Hopkins from St. George's. And after that, Sir Gary lived in his mother's house near to Dunfermline there. So one day I was standing near to Miss Modeste in Grenville and Miss Rapier on that road there. And so Eric passed and he said, Mrs. Benjamin, I would like to give you, I would like to send you to Jamaica to do a course there, you know. in the university in Jamaica, you know. So I said, well, you know, it's all right. So he did send me to Jamaica, and at the university in Jamaica, I did some studies there, and came back, and I think I was hired, you know, I worked with the Grenada Interchurch Council on Market Hill for the first time. All the churches were involved when we were in Market Hill. And after I worked with Mrs. Cynthia Gary at the ministry. But when so Eric met me at the airport when I came back, I think it was from Ghana. I went with the YWCA first. And he said to me, Mrs. Benjamin, I would like to cut the ribbon to open the Cajona home for the aged. So, yeah, so I went there afterwards, and I started, you know, well, just, you know, showing them what to do with the people and the training and so on. And afterwards he came back and asked me to run for the election.
So he did all the nice things first to get you comfortable, and then he came back and asked you to be a part of his party.
Yes, and I ran for St. Andrews Northwest. Yeah. And after that, I was working with Mrs. Gary sometimes there, and I had a responsibility for different things with, you know, people doing different things on her side there. And UNICEF and all this, yeah. Yes.
So being a parliamentarian, you represented St. Andrew Northwest. What has it been like? If you can reminisce on being in the parliament and seeking the interests of your people then.
Yes, well, you know, it was very interesting work to do because the people of the community, we work together, you know. Some of them, we find work for them. We did training programs. And one of the things so I did is if we have in a function, he would send somebody, a policeman, dressed up with his uniform to drop me an invitation to come to this function, you know. So we had a very close relationship, you know, and the Princess Alice Hospital, when I worked with Dorothy Hopkins in Paradise, when we brought children to the clinic there, if they can handle the children, I'll take the child in my car, a child or children, bring them to Princess Alice Hospital. So we had a close relationship with the Princess Alice Hospital. And you know, the Princess Alice Hospital, too, when I was in a school in Grenville, what do you call it? The school opposite the police station there. It was a secondary school. And upstairs we used to. And then there are many things we did, you know, to take care of children in the community, to see that children went to school and was properly trained, you know. There's a lot we did. Yes.
If you go back, if your memory can take you back to 1974 and the events that led to 1974, what can you tell us? That's when Sir Eric journeyed to England and so and made his presentation for independence. What can you tell us about that particular period?
Well, while he was doing a lot, you know, in involving people on the outside, we were also doing a lot in Grenada to see that, you know, people did what they're supposed to do. We got training programs for the younger people, and we showed that some of them had other kind of training, you know. So it was a close relationship between the job and Sawyer Gary. Yes.
So if you are to tell younger people like myself and Grenadians in general something important and inspiring about Sir Eric that you believe they should know, what would that be?
Well, I tell you, one of the things that happened is when I was home, after working with Dorothy Hopkins in Dunfermline and Paradise Clinic and so on. And one day I was between Miss Modeste and Miss Rapier in Grenville. And so Eric Gary passed and he said to me, Mrs. Benjamin, I want to offer you a scholarship to the University in Jamaica. And I you know, that was a real surprise to me. So I said, well, if you do offer me a scholarship, I would, you know, accept the scholarship and go to Jamaica and study. So I went to Jamaica and I studied there at the university. And after that, I worked with several other groups in Grenada.
So is it important what you'd like to say?
Benjamin David.
So, Ms. Benjamin, first and foremost, how do you feel to be back home at this time, and what are your thoughts on us celebrating the Big 50?
Oh, it's just unbelievable. I can't even. It's so emotional, you know, especially being here for 50 years, and especially with my mom, who's now 88, and I'm just really happy that she can experience the gratitude that, you know, she feels now and the support she's been given and recognized for her achievements throughout the Gary regime. So it's really, really good feeling to be here.
I guess when she was much younger, she may have shared stories. What are some of the stories she shared being a politician and a female politician?
The story that really sticks with me, and I was still in primary school when it happened, and the message we got was that she was shot, and they pulled me out of school, and that was very, very devastating to hear that kind of news. But anyway, so she always tells me the story about standing next to Eric Gary, and they aimed a stone at him, and it got her on the knee. And she had to go to Parliament, showed up in Parliament the next day with a bandage on her leg. And she's always, that statement comes out, she shed her blood for independence, and that stuck with me for, especially now, we're celebrating 50 years. It really is a remarkable achievement that she's here and has really done so much in her life. She's lived a really full life. And I'm really proud of her and proud to be a Grenadian, you know, with a history that's just like...
What it was like being in the home, because she mentioned a lot about helping this one and helping that one, and so what it was like being in the home and mom have to be doing all of this, sharing the time.
Yeah, well, She engaged all of us. I mean, my aunt, so she's here. She grew up with us as, and one of the family members. And she always made sure that, we always try to help and give back. And, to especially the less fortunate. And I guess what really means a lot to her is helping the children. She's gone through, with the Interchurch Council and the Save the Children Fund, taking children that were suffering from malnutrition and taking them to the hospital, giving them food, nutritious food, milk, and so. So it showed me that you have to care for people, and it has to come from deep down. And, you just do what you have to do. And I have taken this in my own life, in my work life. You try to help, and that's the motto. You do what you can, to help the less fortunate. And I think that's a big lesson for me.